Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
The obvious reason that men are voting for Donald Trump is because he cares about men. I mean, it's no secret that the Democratic Party has been emasculating men for decades.
The first day of the DNC convention, the very first day, they were offering vasectomies to men, almost like it's their traditional ritual. You must leave your balls at the door.
Can speak to men out there who might not be the sort of testosterone-laden, gun-toting kind of guy.
It is about modern masculinity.
Yeah. A lot of men think Democrats care more about dudes who want to become women than dudes who just want to be dudes. And no hunting, cosplay, or cringy videos is going to change it. The bet is made.
Guys, I messed up big time. I should have recorded this from the beginning. I was just scouring all the news, see what the heck's going on today. And I had already seen this video. I was already planning on talking about Clay Travis, okay, sports and political commentator. I think he primarily does sports, and he went on to some event. You'll see it in the video, where he was talking about Democrats and how they have no masculinity, how they're effectively a bunch of pussies. And I 100% agree with him. But the reason I'm saying I messed up is because I should have recorded CNN's reaction earlier, because there's a part of this video that had me rolling. But I'm gonna go ahead and show you what Clay Travis had to say first, and then we'll go ahead and react to the rest of what CNN had to say after.
Young men have not become much more conservative, at least according to Gallup, but they have become more Republican. So you have this interesting...
Wait, say that again, the men?
They have not identified as more conservative, but they are becoming more Republican. So from the Obama era, you know, young men and young women were Democrats, right? For both elections, strong majorities of young men and young women voted for Barack Obama. And then you had a slow decline, right? This didn't happen in just one election. There's been a deterioration of democratic identity among young men for over 10 years. And so
are you saying specifically they turn against Democrats?
I'm saying that they are more, yes, they are more Republican now, but not necessarily because they've shifted the right on issues like climate change or abortion or same-sex marriage. They're still well to the left of their dads and grandfathers when it comes to that stuff. And so you have this really interesting situation where this group, again, looks on paper fairly liberal in a lot of ways. And in point of fact, you had 6 in 10 young men who are moderates vote for Trump, and more than 1 in 5 liberal young men vote for Trump, right? And so if we're gonna look for explanations, we need to move beyond issues. We need to understand, like, there's something about Trump that was attractive, and then there's something about the Democratic Party, at least in its current manifestation, that was repellent.
I was really struck by you saying, especially that, you know, even if they are more likely to identify as Republicans, they're still far more liberal than the men of generations before them. And I think that that's something that would surprise a lot of young women like myself to hear that. I was surprised.
So what is it that we're missing about, or what is it that people who are not, as Magdalene said, people who don't understand why? That's my first question. I have a second one, but go ahead.
Okay, so what I would start with is men aspire to be bigger, stronger, and faster than we are, almost universally. That's why superheroes are popular. That's why pro athletes are popular. Who is the most masculine Democrat right now in America? Mayor Pete.
Is that a gay joke?
No, Mayor Pete. No, well, no, it's just that he's not particularly masculine. Nobody's like, oh, Mayor Pete, he's a badass. Chuck Schumer. Is anybody like, hey, you know, Chuck Schumer holding up an avocado and a beer to talk about the Super Bowl? Is anybody like that trying to grill? Is anybody like, hey, that's a dude I want to hang out with?
But Trump's like a grandpa.
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
Trump took a bullet in his ear and immediately stood up and said, fight, fight, fight. Every man in America and most of the women out here were impressed by that, even if the women won't admit it. She's shaking her head strong. And second part of this, basically summing it up, Democrats for men are pussies and Republicans
Democrats for men
are pussies. There are no masculine men in the Democrat Party right now.
Now, obviously, for those of you all who've been watching me for pretty much any period of time for longer than like 2 days, you'll already know that I essentially have been saying the same thing for a very long time. So I would 100% agree with Travis here. The Democrats have made themselves a party of abortion, gaslighting, crying, everything is racist, everything is Nazism, you know, just fear-mongering everything, Project 2025, like these stupid talking points. That's what the Democrats stand for. Promises made and promises not kept. Donald Trump's the opposite. Promises made and promises kept. Every single thing that he said he was going to do, he is doing, and he's trying to do it fast because he also said he was going to do it fast. So he's trying to do that. Whereas the Democrats love to make a lot of promises, get in office, and then make a bunch of excuses for why something can't be done. They could have the presidency, the House, and the Senate, and they still won't do anything. And they'll still blame Republicans for it. So they proved that they're a party of do nothing and a party of elites. I mean, you got all these celebrities and stuff supporting them. You have this beta male VP out here calling other people weird. I'm like, dude, you got a lot of nerve. Tim Walz calling people weird. Kamala Harris, she wasn't cool at all. And she was pretending to be black. It's an Indian and Irish lady pretending to be black so she could get black votes, and a bunch of gullible black people just so desperate for any breadcrumb they could get, just believing it. It's a whole mess all around. And then you got this, of course, woke panel on CNN. And this is where they had me dying with one stupid thing that they said, which obviously we're going to get to, and y'all can see what I'm talking about. I'm probably not going to laugh as hard the second time. But I didn't see the whole thing, but I got to that part and I was like, it's video time.
Right?
I mean, Eric Adams is still a Democrat-ish, right?
He does push. You think he's masculine?
No, he's buff for 6'6".
Eric Adams, I mean, he all right, but he a little weak on illegal immigration. He tightening up because he was trying to get his charges dropped by Teflon Don, which worked out for him, but I mean, I don't know. I don't feel like he is a strong face of the Democrat Party at all. Eric Adams, no.
53 years old. I was going to say Obama. You know, when they said right away who's the most. Now, he's slim, but he's athletic. He plays ball.
But is he right that Republican. Well, first of all, let me just show you the numbers, because actually the numbers maybe do suggest this. For young men under the age of 29, the swing from 2020 to 2024 in Trump's favor is pretty significant. 49 to 48, Trump to Harris.
Okay, let's take a look at this. So Donald Trump gained 8 points between 2020 and 2024 for young men, and he was down by 11% against Sleepy Joe, whereas he was ahead by 1% for Kamala Harris with young men. I would say that this somewhat checks out, but I don't think that I think there's more to it than that. Like, the situation has changed. The economy got worse. The border got more open. There's no pandemic going on right now. Joe Rogan switched sides. Elon Musk switched sides. Democrats lost a lot of strong, influential people. Some of the most powerful people the Democrats lost. I think that that's a big factor too. I don't think it's just that, you know, like men hate women or something stupid that I know that these woke panelists might be thinking.
It's almost tied with young men. Trump did very well with young people relative to what he normally does. There's something going on here.
No, and I mean, this was why, you know, Joe Rogan was so influential in this campaign. Joe Rogan has an audience mostly of young men. There was this whole big drama about whether Kamala Harris was going to give an interview to him, wound up not doing it. I think is probably a mistake, although it probably didn't affect the outcome of the election. But I mean, I think, you know, what
do y'all want to bet? I mean, why would, I don't know why they keep saying, well, it probably didn't affect the outcome of the election. What do you mean she lost? Clearly, a lot of stuff impacted the outcome of the election. If you're going to say it's one particular thing, nobody's saying that. But, of course, a lot of stuff affected it. The whole transgender thing for migrants in prison that are transgender surgeries, getting that paid for by taxpayers, that affected it by almost 3 points. Young men affected it, at least as we could tell, by 1 point. right? Like, there's a lot of things to consider. If you just kind of brush off everything, how the hell are you ever going to make any progress? Keep being dumbasses, please, because I can't wait for J.D. Vance to kick y'all ass in 2028 too.
That guy said was pretty dumb, but it is not. It is not. It is not true. It is true that Democrats have a problem, especially with young men. I mean, that is a real fact.
So then, to me, that in a way it validates what Clay Travis is talking about, because if you're trying to get young men, you're not going to get them on all policy points and all the. No, Joe Rogan knows karate, and sometimes he talk about drugs. That's good enough for me. Pete Hegseth was in.
See, the last time I heard this, this killed me. Joe Rogan knows karate and talks about drugs. Like, man, the first time I about fell out of my chair when I heard this. But guys, this shows you how stupid these people are. Like, I gotta give my 2 cents on this, because they, instead of looking at the big picture, this dummy, this fool, this idiot narrowed it down to, well, Joe Rogan does karate and talks about drugs, as if that's all young men care about. I don't give a damn about karate. I don't even know the last time I watched a martial arts movie or anything like that. Cool, I like them, yeah. But women like those too. I don't think that that's it. And drugs, ain't nobody around here doing no damn drugs. I got an asthma inhaler somewhere. I don't even know where it's at. So that's about the only drug y'all got me on. Is some albuterol, okay? But in terms of what drives young men, it's usually going to be money. It's usually going to be something to advance their life. And a lot of time in this world is money. Talking about drugs and karate, dude, seriously?
Germany this week doing squats with like 220 on the bar outside for no reason. That's what the Democrat. I'm being silly, but
and you know
I'm
what?
serious.
One of the other points that Clay Travis made, and I think this is true. We saw this in real time when Trump had the assassination attempt in Butler. That image of him raising his fist and saying
Boom.
"fight, fight, fight" was like a shot of testosterone in the
You're
arms
damn
of a
right
lot
it
of men.
was.
Mark Zuckerberg was like, "Oh my God." He's so cool.
And
Like
women learn
and now
karate.
look at where we are politically with some of these very people really turning politically.
Y'all know he was so cool. People are calling it fake because they're like, there's no way Trump would have been so calm and got up shaking his fist. He would have been cowardly. He was such a boss. They think it was fake. Even you, for crying out loud, you got a man was killed. Corey Comparator is dead, and 2 others were injured.
It's been happening for 10 years. This has been happening slowly but surely over time. I think that pollster in that clip earlier had said 2 out of 6 moderate men voted for Trump. It was the majority of moderate men voted for Trump. Even over 20% of liberal men voted for Trump. There has been what is seen as I don't want to say a war on masculinity, but there has been.
Men are bad. Have y'all seen some of these stupid commercials that they've had for men?
You think I'm afraid to rebuild a carburetor? I eat carburetors for breakfast.
I ain't afraid of bears. That's what bear hugs are for.
I'll tell you another thing I sure as shit am not afraid of. Women.
I'm not afraid of women. I'm not afraid of women. They want to control their bodies? I say go for it.
They want to use IVF to start a family? I'm not afraid of families.
They want to be childless cat ladies? Have all the cats you want.
Woman wants to be president?
Well, I hope she has the guts to look me right in the eye and accept my full-throated endorsement.
Because I'm man enough to support women.
I'm man enough to be emotional in front of my wife. In front of my kids.
In front of my horse.
I'm man enough to tell you that I cry at Love Actually.
Just stupid, vulgar, like they don't want to date you. If you vote for Trump, you're not going to be able to have sex.
A really nice place. Have you been here before?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite spots. I bring everybody here. I said not go on a lot of dates, but... Hello, ladies. I'm Trey. It's good to be here.
What do you do and how much do you make?
I work in finance, making 6 figures.
How tall are you?
6'5".
Do you have any plans to vote in November?
Nah, not my thing.
Go against your husband in secret. Ruin your marriage if it means that you get to vote in the candidate that you like. These people are stupid and crazy.
And this trend in the Democratic Party, or it's at least felt that the left is becoming more and more hostile to the things that are typically men. And you've seen John Fetterman talk about this idea of like patronizing, calling them bros, or that ad that looked like a spoof at the end of the race of like real men do this. It's like, have you ever talked to a dude in your life? So in James Carville saying, you know, we need to have less like yappy voices and more men talking. And there are many men in the Democratic Party, West Moore, others.
Democratic messaging is too feminine. But Carrie, what do you think is the masculinity that they are attracted to in Trump?
I'm laughing because I just, no disrespect to you lovely men on this panel.
We do have
but you men are something. That's all, you know. You men are something. And I can see the appeal of Donald Trump being a very strong masculine man, and I can see him winning over men, because I do agree the Democratic Party, for all intent and purpose, felt like a place for the others, and they tried to take on every issue that the Republicans didn't want. If you want to talk about trans, come here. If you want to talk about LGBTQIA, come here.
Well, yeah, it's called being fake. That's the reason why they got so many of the weirdo, stupid issues right now, because their strategy is not to be real and to really stand on business for anything. It's to be anti-Trump everything, anti-Republican everything, and it's not working. If Trump says, hey, we want to strengthen the economy, they might as well say, oh, we want to weaken the economy. Like, they're not going to say that directly, but they're going to go against positive things that he wants to do and try to poke every hole they possibly can in it. And it just doesn't work. It backfires because they end up going against common sense, men and women's sports, all of this stupid stuff. It is just not going to work for them until they start admitting, yeah, some things are good here, but there's some problems with it, and we want to make improvements, not just this guy is Hitler. It's not an effective strategy.
If you want to talk about men and women, you know, in sports, come here. There were all of these things that I felt men wanted to say felt emasculating. It felt like, I'm not with that. I don't believe in that. And I'm going to go over here because they...
What the hell were you trying to say from the beginning? Well, you men are really something else. Why would you start off in a conversation like this patronizing the men, effectively being disrespectful? What if the dudes were like, yeah, you women are something else? Like, I don't think you would like that either. Like, people don't like to be talked to like that. Learn how to show some respect for the person who is literally bigger and stronger than you. Like, you do realize that if we wanted to, we could force you to do anything that we wanted you to do. The only reason you have any amount of freedom is because the men of the world allow you to, and you best wake up. And step one to get men back is stop putting people like this woke behind black chick on the screen. What's her name again? Carrie Champion? Yeah, it's Carrie Champion don't need to be one of the staunch advocates out here speaking. You need to get actual... The problem is there are men's issues and they don't care about men's issues. They tried to focus it on men's issues and just say, well, men should just care about these issues. Well, we don't. Or what if we don't? Then what are you going to do? All the shaming and guilt and manipulation has never been as effective on men. That is a strategy for young people and for gullible women. It's not a good strategy on men. Majority of men aren't as gullible as majority of women. It just is what it is. Majority of older people are not as gullible as majority of younger people. That's why the Democrats love targeting kids. That's why they try to focus on women, because they're going for the group that they feel like they could more easily convince with a bunch of their woke nonsense. Is basic psychology, guys. You got to just pay attention and kind of use your head a little bit. They feel like this catering towards men isn't going to work because the men might see through their BS. So they didn't even bother trying. That's what the issue is. And if you don't say that you're going to provide or give something, then men are not going to support you. Like, it's really that simple. And they thought that they could win it with women alone, like as if all women supported all of this woke nonsense. All women was pro-choice. All women was pro-open borders. All women were just stupid as hell. No. The Democrats are a bunch of pussies. I've been saying that for forever, since like the beginning of this channel, since before I started on YouTube. But these are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate y'all watching the Black Anomaly. Rising sun. I'm out.
When you tell people who are doing their level best that either A, it's not good enough, or B, you're part of the problem, what do you expect?